The best way to practice case interviews is to practice with a case partner. However, if you have an upcoming consulting interview and don't have much time to prepare, then you may have no choice but to practice case interviews by yourself. I'm a former Bain manager and interviewer that has helped candidates pass their first round consulting interviews in as little as a few days of preparation. In this video, I'll cover the exact steps you should take to maximize your practice and learning when practicing case interviews alone. There are 8 steps to practice case interviews by yourself. The goal of these steps is to simulate a real case interview as closely as you can so that you practice the same skills and techniques that you're going to use in a real case interview. Step 1. Find cases that are suitable for practicing alone. Not all cases are suitable for practicing by yourself. Case interviews can be written in a number of different formats. The first format is the question and answer format. Many cases are written as a series of sequential questions and answers. This format is easy to practice alone because you can read the question, develop an answer, and then compare your answer to the model answer. This case format emulates an interviewer-led case. A case format you should not use is one that lays out all of the case information in an unstructured way. This format is more suited for practicing with a case partner. Your case partner reads all of the information so that they can run the mock case interview smoothly. If you use these types of cases, you'll likely read the answers to the case questions as you read the case background information. This makes practicing the case on your own ineffective. Therefore, only use the question and answer format when practicing on your own. Step 2. Synthesize the case background information. Start the practice case interview by reading the case background information. Then, just as you would do in a live case interview, summarize the case background information out loud. Even though you will not have a partner to confirm your understanding of the case, it is important to practice synthesizing the case out loud. This will help you improve your communication skills so that you can summarize information clearly and concisely. Step 3. Ask clarifying questions. Next, just as you would do in a live case interview, ask clarifying questions out loud. Although you do not have a case partner that can answer your questions, it is important to practice identifying the critical questions that need to be asked to fully understand the case. Focus on asking questions that strengthen your understanding of the company, the business problem, or the objective. You'll have an easier time solving the case if you ask the right clarifying questions. Before we move on to the next step, please take a second to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our consulting interview content. You'll not only get good karma for your upcoming interviews, but you'll also be helping support our small YouTube channel. Step 4. Structure a framework and present it out loud. Afterwards, take a few minutes to gather your thoughts to structure a framework. Remember that you want to simulate exactly what you would say and do in a real live interview. So, talk to yourself out loud and ask for permission to have a few minutes of silence. When you are creating a framework, it may be tempting to give yourself unlimited time since you are working through the case alone. Don't do this. Instead, pretend that you are in an actual interview in which you'll only have a few minutes to put together a comprehensive and coherent framework. Replicate the stress that you will feel in an interview when you are practicing case interviews on your own by giving yourself time pressure. When you have finished creating your framework, turn your paper around to face an imaginary interviewer and walk through the framework out loud. You will need to get good at presenting your framework concisely and in an easy to understand way. Step 5. Propose an area to start the case. Next, propose an area of your framework to start the case. Make sure to say out loud the reasons why you want to start with that particular area. This is a great way to practice kicking off a case interview in candidate-led cases. Step 6. Answer each case question out loud. Now that the case is started, start by reading the first question. After reading the question, don't work on answering that question in silence. During a real interview, you'll never work in silence. Instead, pretend that you are in a live interview and walk the interviewer through your thinking. If the question is a quantitative problem, create a structure and walk the interviewer through how you would solve the problem. When doing math, do your calculations out loud and explain the steps that you are taking. If the question is qualitative, structure your thinking and then brainstorm your ideas out loud. Walk the interviewer through your ideas and opinions. For both quantitative and qualitative questions, try to anticipate objections the interviewer may raise or follow-up questions they may ask. You'll have to make these questions up yourself since you are not practicing cases with a partner. Address these objections and practice these questions out loud. Finally, take the time to connect your answer to the overall case objective. Synthesize the implications of your answer and how that shapes your hypothesis or working recommendation. You can also propose the next area of the case that you would like to explore or the next question you would like to answer. Afterwards, move on to the next question and repeat the same process. Step 7. Deliver a recommendation out loud. Once you have finished answering all of the case questions, it is time to deliver your recommendation. Just as you would do in a real case interview, ask for a brief moment to collect your thoughts and review your notes. Once you have decided on a recommendation, present your recommendation to the interviewer. Again, it is important to do this out loud so that you can practice delivering your recommendation clearly and concisely. Step 8. Review your answers and identify improvement areas. When the case is completed, review your framework and answers and compare them to the model answers that the case provides. Reflect on how you could have made your framework or answers stronger. Also, take the time to reflect on what parts of the case you could have done better. Could your case synthesis be more concise? Was your framework mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive? Could your math calculations be done more smoothly? Was your recommendation structured enough? This is the most important part of practicing case interviews by yourself. Since you have no partner to provide you feedback, you will need to be introspective and identify your own improvement areas. At the end of each practice case interview, you should have a list of new things that you have learned and a list of improvement areas to work on in future practice cases. You'll continue to work on your improvement areas in future practice cases either by yourself or with a partner. Here are some final tips for practicing case interviews by yourself. The most important thing to remember when practicing case interviews by yourself is that you want to emulate a live case interview as closely as possible. Therefore, follow these tips to make the most of your case practice. Don't have notes or a calculator out when you are practicing, since you won't have these in your actual interview. Don't take breaks in the middle of a mock case interview. Don't read the case answer until you completely finish answering each question. Talk through everything out loud as if there were an interviewer in the room. Occasionally record yourself to understand what you look like and sound like when you speak. Make sure to give yourself enough time to review the model answers and identify areas where you can improve. And finally, focus on improving one thing at a time in each practice case interview. You now know exactly how to practice case interviews by yourself in the most efficient and effective way. If you're looking for a step-by-step shortcut to learn case interviews quickly, check out our comprehensive case interview course. It includes 20 full-length practice cases based on real case interviews given at top-tier firms such as McKinsey, BCG, and Bain that you can do on your own without a partner. Additionally, you can check out our case interview workbook. It contains over 65 practice problems covering all of the different parts of a case interview, including the framework, market sizing, charts and graphs, brainstorming, and business judgment. Links are in the video description below. We teach the most robust, effective case interview strategies in the least time-consuming way to save you hundreds of hours of prep time and help you land multiple consulting job offers.